welcome to the second episode of the TNT MMA podcast. Uh,
Dang.
we got T-Roll here, and I guess, the host, Trent. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We just watched the UFC Fights Tonight on August the 2nd, 2025. It was UFC 108, I believe. Is that correct? Do you know? I believe it was
For
called.
sure. It's just a fight night.
Yeah, it was
So,
called UFC Vegas 108 apparently. Anyways,
okay.
uh, let's just first do like a little overcap of what we thought of the card, and then we'll get straight into the fights and our predictions and whatnot. So, what you got, T-Row?
Overall, pretty entertaining card. A lot of decisions, few TKOs, few knockouts. But overall, it's really entertaining. I really like Tatsuro Taira, and he showed out, so
Indeed,
happy for that.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Seemed like a lot of your Japanese fighters were getting it done today, so that's pretty fire.
Hey, you know how I roll.
Yes, Sirski. All right.
Hajime Ippo vibes
Mm-hmm.
there.
For real, for real. I also thought it was a pretty good. Like I said, I didn't get to watch all of the fights, but the ones I watched were pretty good, pretty entertaining. Some definite bangers in there, surprising bangers, I would say. Um, let's just get straight into it though. First fight of the early prelims, we had Piera Rodriguez against Ketlin Souza. We had Rodriguez getting the split decision win, 29-28 for two of the judges and 28-29 for the other one. Um, I would say, obviously Rodriguez was the was the favorite tonight. I
Yep.
actually had Souza winning that fight. That did not go according to plan for me. Um,
Why was that? Do you have any
she just looks like
reasoning
she's
behind it?
uh, when it comes to the women's fights, for real, I don't really know a lot of the fighters. Um, and she just looked like the scariest. She just looked
That's honestly like a fair way to bet on the women's
yeah,
fights.
like she just
With
looked
with
like
that,
she's scary.
but I will say Rodriguez is a little scary looking as well,
Mm.
and I
And
will say that Sousa does look the less womanly of the two, so I could see where your reasoning was on that one, but
somebody had to say it. So yeah, that was pretty much why I went with that. What? But Rodriguez was tearing up Souza's body the entire time. Also landed 7 out of 10 takedown attempts, which is obviously going to be good. Only had
yep.
about 3 more minutes of time of control, surprisingly, even though she had 7 more takedowns than Souza. But what did you think about this fight?
I mean, about as interesting as a woman's fight can get, pretty much. I mean, Rodriguez was doing good, yeah, definitely with the body work,
Mm,
and Sousa was just doing good at getting up fast,
yeah,
and Rodriguez wasn't controlling very well. Um,
yeah.
so,
I will say though,
but
at the end of like the second round, I was watching. Souza was on the bottom, I believe, and man, she looked. At first, I was like watching it, and I was like, "Dang, Souza looks exhausted." And then 30 seconds later, I was like, wow, both of them look exhausted. With like 2 minutes left in the second round, I was like, oh, this is going to be a pretty boring end to this fight. And it was. It was, after that, it was just like a lot of kind of sloppy work. But, you know, uh, the Rodriguez gets the dub. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else more
I
to
mean,
go in.
I you know what good for Rodriguez. I had her on my bet there. I had her over 1.5 rounds, and
Bang,
she did win over 1.5 rounds. So
bang. There you go. All right,
yeah,
well, we'll move on, I guess. Next prelim, we had Rafael Estevan against Felipe Boons. And Estevan got the unanimous decision, 29-28, all three judges' scorecards. Um, he was a very heavy favorite in this fight. I mean, I definitely had him winning this. Definitely thought that he would keep his streak of being undefeated going, and he did. He had 10 minutes of time on the ground control over Three
Very good
seconds.
control time.
3 seconds for Felipe Boons. Not looking. I also thought, I predicted already that Esteban was going to win this, but when I was watching this fight, when they walked in you can tell a lot from like how a fight might go based off people's body language, for sure.
For
If you
sure.
like, once you start watching more fights, you kind of pick up on it more. But like I look back now with having a little bit more MMA knowledge, and I look back at like the McGregor and Aldo fight, right? You could tell right before the fight starts, even on the walkout. So you could tell right before the fight starts that, one guy is very loose, feeling good. The other guy's like a little bit more tense, And in this fight, I saw Felipe Boons walk out, and he looked like kind of scared. He did not look intimidating at all. And Esteban came out, he looked like cool, calm, collected. He was like kind of dancing a little bit coming in there. He just looked like he felt confident. And confidence is a killer in the fighting business. So I felt really good once I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, this should be good. And then he dominated for real though.
Yeah,
What would you see in
absolutely.
this fight?
Nah, beautiful control time.
Mm-hmm.
Takedowns were absolutely relentless, and I think Bunez just gassed out too early. Like his arms just got too tired, and um, Estevan's relentless pressure just got him that dub, which I bet on him round 3 or on decision. So
That
um,
works.
that one hit for me. So
Dang,
happy on that one. My card started out strong and then kind of fell apart as it went further, but it's
for
fine.
real. Me too. But yeah, I'll be at 128 total strikes from Raphael to 38 from Boons. Just way more volume of strikes there.
It was those
Include
ground strikes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was the ground strikes, including the time of control. Man, it just was absolutely just piecing him up. So good fight from Estevan. Um, I think he's 14-0. I don't know how many fights he's had in the UFC, but I mean he seems to be doing pretty good. He's got crazy odds for most of his fights so far, so I'm sure he's just gonna keep moving up that flyweight division and maybe eventually push for a little title shot or something. I'm not really sure what
He
his path looks
lost
like.
his last fight. Lost his last fight by decision
Esteban did?
to, no, Austin Bashi.
Oh, we moved on.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we
No,
moved.
no,
No, it's cool. It's
no,
cool.
no, sorry. You were talking about Esteban?
Yeah, I was just saying Esteban's 14-0 right now.
Yeah, no,
And
sorry, yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I could look really quick, but I'm not sure.
Three fights in the UFC now
Okay.
with Felipe,
Okay.
and he's won all of them by decision.
Nice. All right, but yes, we can move on to the Austin Bashi versus John Yanis fight. Um, I mean, first round
No, my
sub.
apologies for
No,
jumping there,
no,
but
you're good. You're all good. First round sub for
but yeah,
Bashi. Looked very dominant. Very, very dominant. I mean, his odds were crazy. He was like minus 1,000 for his odds. Didn't need that much control time. He pretty much got on like he actually his striking was looking actually pretty good to start out the fight, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just gonna get a finish. I actually had a first round finish from Bashi, and I was like, oh, maybe he's gonna get like a TKO or something like that, and then he took him down, and then from there it was just wraps. Like eventually he actually honestly Yanis was scrambling pretty good for a while there. I will say that he seemed to be scrambling pretty good, and then next thing you know, gives up his back, tries to stand up, and Bashi's got him in a rear naked choke standing. And then it was cooked from there. What do you
well,
think
it
though?
was really good control from Bashi, and it
Mm,
was really easy to control because of how early it was in the fight. He just got his back so quickly, and they were dry still. There wasn't a lot of sweat on them,
yeah,
so Bashi was able to take advantage of that. He actually attempted a lot of submissions, but like they're not going to count a lot of them just because.
yeah,
But I saw him like trying to dig under that chin the whole time.
yeah,
He was on his back,
yeah,
and I mean
mm,
Giannis did a good job defending for a while, but
yeah.
shout out to Bashi for getting that sub because that's what I had him for is a submission, and
Dang,
yeah,
and it hit. But yeah, that was a good fight though. Um, I thought it was gonna be kind of even more of a slaughter, but it turned out to be a pretty good fight. Like Giannis was trying to fight it out of it as long as he could. He looked out of shape.
it's hard to tell. I mean, like a little bit. Like his body looked a little out of shape, yeah, but like
Yeah.
it's hard to tell like how out of shape he was until they get further into the fight.
No, yeah, yeah. Not so much stamina. I was just saying like he just didn't look in very good. I know not everybody's like completely jacked all the time or whatever, but what? Get out of here. I thought Asher was in here. No, man. I'm so sorry. I literally tell people that I'm filming a video, but whatever. But yeah, it was a good fight. I really like Bashi's game, so I'm actually excited to see him moving forward. I think he's a good prospect for the UFC. And hopefully, he can keep stringing these wins together. He lost his other fight, his last fight. He lost his last fight, but I hope he can keep this going, moving forward. So
Featherweight's a stacked division. I
it
think
is.
you'd be a good addition to the roster. So
Yeah, it is a stacked division right now for sure. Which is cool though. I think that's a good thing because right now,
yeah,
No, how do you say that? His name, the champ.
um, at featherweight,
Yeah, it's
it's Volkanovski.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of. My bad. I was thinking of lighter weight, but yeah,
Flyweight.
I was thinking of flyweight. My bad. But featherweight is definitely stacked. I mean, Volk's up there at the top, obviously. Um, yeah, I was thinking of flyweight from the Esteban fight. My bad. But yeah, definitely a stacked weight class. So it'll be nice to see maybe some new fresh faces coming in there and moving up the list. So you good to move on to the next one?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Another good fight.
Yeah, another good fight. This Nick Klein versus Andre Pulyaev. I had Pulyaev winning this fight by. I had a third round TKO is what I had it as. It ended up being a second round TKO, so even better. Um, I saw a lot of people were saying actually because I did catch part of this fight. I was seeing a lot of people saying that Klein actually had the first round, had won the first round, um, and then Polyev just kind of turned on his striking in the second round and ended up being able to get the finish. 131 into the second round. What did you see from this one? What did you like? What did you dislike? What you got?
We'll say I didn't specifically have somebody winning this fight, but I did bet on the fight not going the distance. I knew
Mm.
these two were both very, very good strikers. I knew it was going to be a barn burner,
Mm.
and that's what it seemed to be. I mean, Klein came out real hot for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then I mean, I forgot what punch it was that knocked out Nick Klein. Or
It was a kick.
hold
It
on,
was a kick that.
was it a kick?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good fight. It definitely was entertaining. Definitely was a lot of action early. So and it's always nice to get a finish. Finishes are way
Yeah,
more fun than decisions. So
absolutely.
don't let the judges get involved. Try to get that thing finished early. So and that's what Polyev did. He got done in the second round. Took the judges out of it and got a nice little win there. Um, Not like and like you said, it was actually a pretty even fight. Like the significant strikes and the total strikes are not like clearly like on one side or anything like some of the other fights were. It was definitely a really good first round from Klein. He came out really hot, and then pretty much round two was Polyev's, and he was able to finish it in that one. So, anything else you guys say about that one?
No, great fight.
Yeah, it
Beautiful
was good.
fight.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight. Next we got Rodolfo, Vieira, and we got Traceon Gore. Um, with Vieira being the favorite in this fight, and the Vegas had it correct because he did get the finish, or he did not get the finish. Sorry, he got the win, unanimous decision, 29-28 for one of the judges and 30-27 for the other two. I had Trajan Gore winning this. I know he just lost by I believe knockout last fight. I could be wrong about that, but I know he lost his last fight for sure.
Yeah, it was a
And
knockout. He got knocked out.
yeah, and so I wasn't
Go to the
super confident. Sometimes it's hard for people to come back after getting knocked out. But I was hoping he was gonna be able to pull it back off, but he was not. Um, he was getting he was getting eaten kind of alive, honestly. Unfortunately.
Yep. Yep. I will say I had Vieira winning this by submission.
Mm.
So I was a little sad that he didn't wasn't able to get a lot of takedowns. Trayshawn actually looked good on the takedown
Mhm.
defense. But
Yeah.
to be fair, Vieira's takedowns didn't look great either. I mean, he just kind of hugged him for a little bit, went for
Yeah.
some inside trips, and kind of gave up on him
Yep.
really like halfway through. So,
Mhm.
um, shout out to Trayshawn Gord for defending all those takedowns, though.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Vieira.
yeah,
Vieira.
I either had Trayshawn Gore by knockout or Vieira by sub. And honestly, I thought it was going to be a little bit more action packed. I thought
Mhm.
Trayshawn was actually going to look for a knockout, but he looked kind of timid. And then Vieira in the end also looked timid, just kind of hugging him for the
Yeah.
decision win.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, I think that's something that comes from getting knocked out. You know, you come next fight potentially like a little timid, a little bit scared to get caught by something, and then you don't you're not playing your game anymore. You know, you're kind of playing into that fear. You know, and but he did do great on the takedown defense. Vieira shot 14 takedowns, only got one of them. So, like you said, the takedowns didn't look great or anything, but he was defending them. So, good on him for that. But yeah, not nearly as exciting of a fight as I was hoping it was going to be. But um, but yeah, I mean, it went how it went. Pretty decisive fight by Vieira there. So moving up the card now, the last prelim of the night. This was actually I was really excited for this fight. This looked like it was gonna be a really good fight. Rina Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. Round one finish from Rina or Rina, and that is what I had. I didn't have it as a first round finish, but I did have him getting a finish. I did not have this going the distance, and I had Rina winning this fight. Not any like this was not a ground game at all. There was only a minute in. Don't get me wrong, so there wasn't really any time. But what did you see from this fight?
So yeah, another one of my bets that hit. Rinya, I had him by knockout. I was confident in his ability to get that knockout.
Heck
He had
yeah.
that southpaw stance body kick, and which I love. I love that's
Mm,
like one of my favorite kicks. You're able to get so much power into the liver from just the southpaw stance.
yeah.
So yeah, beautiful performance from Nakamura, and excited to see who else he fights. I don't know if he called anybody out, but
Yeah, I didn't catch that either. I'm not sure if you did or not, but yeah, bantamweight also a good division. Um, I mean, we can have this conversation again about Marab, but it is a good division, though. I mean, there's still like a lot of contenders in that division that are exciting. I mean, I know Sean O'Malley's been struggling his like last three fights, but he's obviously a big contender. You got Corey Sandhagen fighting for the belt in like a month. That will be hopefully an awesome fight. So that's definitely a stacked division though too. So hopefully he can get some good matchups coming up. And I thought honestly this was going to be like a lot more of a competitive fight than it turned out to be. I thought Nathan Fletcher like looked pretty good from like some of his highlights that I was watching and stuff like that. But just kind of got mauled in there. So. But yeah, that body kick was doing some serious damage for sure. But yeah, so that pretty much ended off the prelims. So now we move on to the main card, starting off with Danny Silva versus Kevin Viejos. He had the unanimous decision, 27-30 for two of the judges, with 28-29 for the other one. So you got unanimous decision there. I did have Viejos winning this fight. Um, I saw he had a little bit more experience and a better record, so I saw he looked a little bit better on paper at least, and he definitely dominated this fight a lot. I wouldn't say dominated, I guess, but he looked good in this fight, in my opinion. What do you think about this one?
yeah, this was a fight that I also had Kevin Veos winning, but I had him by knockout on my on my betting cards. So
Hmm.
sadly, I missed that leg. But they both looked really good. It was a
Yeah,
really nice fight.
yeah,
But yeah, like you said, Veos was just too dominant. He was a little too fast for Silva, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
did a lot of good work on the feet.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think there was too much ground time.
No, there
But
wasn't. Less than 2 minutes total. So.
yeah, so but it was a nice performance on the feet and
Mhm.
decent scrambles to watch. So
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good fight. I enjoyed watching that one as well. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, they did both shoot like a few takedowns. Viejos went for five, landed two of them. But obviously, he only had like a minute 14, so Silva was getting up pretty quick. And then Silva did shoot nine and only got one, so good takedown defense as well from Viejos. But yeah, not very much ground game, but definitely really good fight on the feet. And Viejos just had the edge on that one, so pretty cut and dry there. Not too much going on there. So moving on, we had Neo Magni versus, I'm probably gonna butcher this, Elezu Zaleski dos Santos. Uh, I
close
actually
enough.
had Dos Santos winning this, to be honest. Um,
You and me both, brother. You and me
uh,
both.
I both of these guys have a ton of experience in the UFC. Both of these guys have fought a lot of fights. Um, and the underdog Neil Magny pulls this one off. I should have bet on the American, I guess, but you got a TKO finish. It was a nice finish in round two, right at the end too. Like 20 seconds, I think, left in the second round. So got it in there just right before the buzzer. Um, I would say from the
Yeah,
stats, like, but go ahead.
it was honestly like every time I bet on Neil Magny, he ends up losing, and every time I bet against Neil Magny, he ends up winning. He's a really like hit or miss fighter, and it
Yeah.
made me really sad when he knocked out Dos Santos. But um, I feel like Dos Santos was just making really dumb decisions, like on the
Hmm.
ground,
Yeah.
and um, gave up really bad positions. And
Yeah.
I mean, Neil Magny's ground and pound is no joke, and he just didn't take it too seriously.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I totally agree. I've like a bunch of the UFC podcasts I've listened to, like pre-fights, were all saying that they hate betting on Neil Magny because he never wins when they bet on him, but then the second they don't bet on him, he wins. So, um, for all the viewers out there, if there's a card that Neil Magny's in, just don't bet on his fight. Just don't bet on his fight because you're gonna get it wrong regardless. It doesn't matter. It seems like it doesn't. If he's fighting the worst guy in the UFC and you pick him to win, he's gonna lose. But if he's fighting the best guy in the UFC and you pick him to win or to lose, he's gonna win. It's just you can't figure it out with this guy. But good fight for him, good win. The ground pound was very good. So shout out to him. But yeah, don't bet on him.
but
That's
yeah,
what I would say.
Dos Santos. What do you think of Dos Santos' performance? Because
I I totally agree with what you were saying. He was just kind of giving up horrible positions on the ground, and Neil
I think he
Magny.
went for a few leg locks,
I think he did. Yeah, I think
and
so. Yeah.
you give yourself up on bottom when you
Mm-hmm.
go for those leg
Yeah.
locks, and then like especially with Neil Magny, you got to be careful
Yeah.
because that's you take advantage of it.
Yeah. I mean, if it works out, it's great, but it definitely leaves you open for a lot of stuff on the bottom. So a little risky, and it did not pay off for him at all. He got whopped. But yeah, pretty simple cut and dry there. So we'll keep it moving. Next, we had a women's bantamweight fight. I did not uh, predict this fight at all. I had no idea what to predict this fight. But go ahead.
I had this fight going the distance.
Okay.
That's all I
There
had.
you go. Boom.
So
That was the correct call. It did go the distance. Unanimous decision for Rosa. 30-26 from one judge and 29-27. So obviously they thought it was pretty dominant performance based off those numbers. She had 11 minutes 25 seconds of control time to 0 seconds of control time from Cornolle. That's clearly very dominant there. Um, and only shot two or three takedowns and got two of them. So out of two takedowns, she got 11 minutes and 25 seconds. So she was obviously just doing a very good job of controlling on the ground there, throwing a lot of ground strikes and whatnot to keep that control. And went for two subs, did not get either of them, but She did go for a couple sub attempts. Probably try to get a couple more in there, but like you said, they don't count all the sub attempts. They only really count the ones that are gonna have like potential to them. You know what I mean? But
Right.
what else did you see from this? If you watched it or not?
This is sadly one of the fights I missed at work,
Mm,
but I honestly don't think I missed that much. I mean, looking at
no.
from what I'm looking at the total strikes, Rosa threw 224, landed 190. That's a decent output,
Yeah, decent output
but
for sure.
I bet most of it was probably
A lot of
ground
it
and
was on the
pound
ground.
from all the
Yeah,
control time.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it was on the ground for sure. But but yeah. So nothing cooking up too much there. Pretty dominant win from Rosa. She missed 19-7, and Nora takes the L there. Moving on to Elvis Brener and Esteban Ribovics, Ribovics or something like that. Unanimous decision goes to Esteban. 28-29 for one judge and 27-30 for the other judges, landing him the unanimous decision. Um, I would say from the I didn't get to catch this one, but from the stats, it looks like it was a pretty even fight. So I'm kind of surprised by the judges' scorecards just based off like numbers here. He did have a minute of control time over Elvis's 0, but his takedown defense was really good. 9 takedown attempts from Elvis, 0 of them were successful. So great takedown defense from Esteban, and obviously he got control from a couple of those takedowns because he didn't shoot any takedowns. So what do you see from this one?
Well, definitely like a competitive fight for sure, but I can tell you why Rivavix won. It's because he kept Brenner on the back foot and
Hmm.
he applied more pressure and was a little bit faster and just better on the faster on the gun than Brenner was.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean definitely a close fight and it was entertaining.
Oh,
Definitely thought it was going to be fight of the night until the next fight happened because the next fight was absolutely insane.
indeed it
but
was.
But yeah, I had Ribavix by knockout, so I was really cheering for him to win by knockout because he was kind of pouring it on in the last minute, but it kind of looked like he was just kind of not having enough power to do what he needed to do, which I was kind of sad about. But he got the win, so good for him.
Yep.
Bad for my bank account.
Bad for the bets. But yeah, definitely a competitive fight. Seemed like a good fight, and like you said, moving on to the next fight, which you have as fight of the night. We got Rebecca, and we got Chris Duncan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll get better. I promise. I'm gonna get better.
Mateus, I think his first name is Mateus.
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 Mateus. Okay.
Yeah.
Unanimous decision goes to Chris Duncan, 28-29 for two of the judges, and 27-30 for the final judge, giving him the unanimous decision. Definitely not a lot of ground game in this fight, I would say.
It was
But
a barn burner on
it
the
was a
feet.
barn burner on the feet. The stand up was incredible. Definitely a very entertaining fight. A lot of damage done by both of these guys. Give us your take on this one.
Yeah, well, Chris Duncan, I think, just had too much power in his fists, and he really ended up busting up Mateus's bad. And I think Mateus's high output was higher, um, but Chris Duncan just like his punches were doing a lot more damage.
Mm,
So
mm.
I think that's what caused the win, but he definitely like it was just entertaining. These guys were definitely going at each other from round one all the way to round three. And I was driving all my way home from work watching the fight, and I almost crashed just because I was like glued to my screen instead of the road, dude. It was awesome.
Heck yeah, that's what you love to hear. But yeah, definitely fight of the night. It was definitely. You are correct though. The output was better. Out of 278 total strikes, Rebecca landed 123, and out of 225, Duncan landed 95. So it's pretty close because actually, Rebecca threw a lot more strikes. So even though he did land a lot more, technically the output was probably pretty similar. Um, but yeah, definitely a lot of, I mean, significant strikes. 114 significant strikes from Rebecca and 92 from Chris Duncan. I mean, that's a lot of significant strikes. So This was definitely an absolute show on the feet, and that's what the fans love to see. Fans. I would say just generic UFC fans are really wanting to watch just all 12 fights go to knockouts. If we're being real here. Um,
Not a lot of people want to see the ground game.
Now,
So
I will say, I used to be a casual. I am still quite a casual. Let me be very clear about that. But I do appreciate the ground game a lot more. I definitely think it helped me living with T-Roll for a while because this guy was a ground guy. And so he definitely helped me to appreciate how difficult and skillful like the ground games are and stuff. So I do love a good submission and some good takedowns and all that now. But I mean, who doesn't love just an absolute scrap on the feet? Who doesn't love that? So I mean, that was T Roll's fight of the night, and there were some subs on here. So that's what I'm saying.
honestly, there was one fight that almost had a sub that would have been really sick. I forgot exactly who it was. I think it was one that went to decision,
Okay.
but he had his back for like a little bit, and his opponent was kind of posted up like in a turtle
Mhm.
position,
Mhm.
and the dude tried to go for like a spladle and put his leg
Oh.
over his
Oh,
head.
I saw that. What fight was that? That was actually crazy. I was watching that and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like that would have been
Which,
crazy.
if he was able to pull it off, that would have been an amazing submission, and probably
Yes.
would have been submission of the year,
Yeah,
from what I,
that
I would
was.
assume. But
I know exactly what fight you're talking about. I just can't remember whose fight it was, but that
I
was.
think I think it was Estevam. I think it was Estevam versus Bunez. I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was Bunez that had it though, but I could
I'm
be wrong.
pretty sure it was as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah,
as
I'm pretty
well.
sure because I remember the yellow trunks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I was like, whoa, that it looks scary, and then just couldn't quite get it. But that would have been nasty. But yeah. But going back to this Duncan fight, finishing this off. Underdog Chris Duncan though gets the dub um, in an absolute barn burner. Like Trev said, fight of the night for us over here. That's what we're gonna say, fight of the night. And yeah,
You
absolute
agree with me?
banger.
Bang, let's go.
I would agree. That was an absolute scrap. Like I said, I didn't get to watch all the fights, but out of the ones I did watch, that was definitely like the most entertaining fight. I would definitely assume that they both got a little extra paycheck today, so good for them. Love that. And then moving on to the main event of the evening, we had
My boy.
Tyra and we had Park. This was this was led up to be a really really good fight. It was a good fight, I thought. Tyra gets the round two sub a minute and 6 seconds into it. Landed 4 out of 5 takedowns, 4 minutes 41 seconds of ground control time to zero takedowns and zero time of control for Park. So pretty dominant on the ground from Tyra. What did you see from this one? I'm sure you were very excited for Tyra getting this win. Obviously, what did you like about it?
Absolutely. It had Tyra either by sub or decision, so he got the
Bang,
sub, and I was happy. Um, Masterclass in control by Tyra,
absolutely,
especially in round two. But like you just tell that Park just kind of didn't know what to do on the ground,
yeah,
and Tyra was just like absolutely just holding him down. And honestly, the stand up was decent from Park for a little bit for
yeah,
for what you saw, but
yeah,
um, I mean, it just goes to show you how Tyra's control of the MMA, like his fight IQ is just more superior than Park's was,
definitely,
and it was a master class, and I think he got the rear naked choke, didn't he?
yeah. Well, they technically classified it as a neck
And neck
crank
crank,
because
yeah,
it wasn't quite under the chin. He kind of had it like on the chin, but he was cranking it for sure.
yeah,
Pops.
it was
Uh,
tight.
it was tight.
It
It
was
was
tight.
it was tight. It was definitely hurting Park, and you ended up getting him to tap on it. Overall, I would say this card was a pretty good card. Um, I would say honestly, this fight night and last week's fight night were actually both pretty good cards. I enjoyed watching both of them. And then I think like the next card is technically UFC 319, I believe. But
No, it's the fight. It's another
oh,
fight night.
you're right. There's another fight night. You're right. So, do we want to do some light predictions on that fight or on
Yeah,
that card?
absolutely. But hold on, let me ask a question about this card
I would love
first.
that.
What would
Love
you
that.
rate on a scale of 1 to 10 from what you saw?
From what I saw, um,
You did
probably,
miss a lot more of the boring fights.
yeah, that's true. I would give it probably like a 6.5. Is that?
I was gonna give it like a 6.2. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
okay,
you're
yeah,
pretty close.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
6.2,
feeling.
6.1.
I was feeling like a 6.5. There was a few pretty boring fights. There's a few fights that I was hoping were going to be a lot better that turned out to be kind of boring, and I think that's what kind of put it on the downhill. But a lot of the people that I did want to win did win, so um, I can't really complain too much about that. So I would just say it's like a
Next week.
next week. Sorry, I got a freaking ad playing
No,
here.
sorry, I kind of interrupted you there, but
No, you're good. You're
yeah,
good. So next week, the main event is Roman Dolidis versus Anthony
Delize.
Delize. Okay,
Delize, yeah,
you know, I'm
yeah.
sorry, chat. I'm not good at this stuff. We're getting better. We're gonna get better. This is only episode
You're-
2. But against Anthony Hernandez in the middleweight division, I think we could probably just do maybe just like pick a few fights from this main card that we wanna, and maybe a few from the light or from the prelims if you have some fights that you want to predict, and then we
Well, yeah,
can.
the main event and the co-main event are the two ones I'm most interested in for sure because I love Steve Erceg.
Okay.
Steve Erceg is fighting Ode Osborne,
Yep.
13 and 8,
Mhm.
13 and 8 for Ode Osborne. But that'll be a good fight. Steve Erceg, I love him. I really hope he gets the dub. Um, I
What do you
probably
love
would
about
pick
him?
him to get the dub as well. Um, he's entertaining. He's funny. And I like the way he strikes. His knockouts are clean. He's got crisp boxing. Sadly, his other game is just not like his ground game isn't too there.
Hmm.
He's decent for sure, but I don't really think Ode Osborne's going to be looking to grapple with him. So I don't think it'll be a good strike fest. Ode Osborne's got more reach,
Yeah,
um,
quite a bit.
and is still punches really hard. But I trust that Steve Erceg is going to get that win probably by knockout.
Really? Okay.
Um, yep.
You heard it here, folks.
Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez is going to be a banger as well. They're both really good fighters.
Who you got
Um,
winning that one?
honestly, I don't know who the favorite is right now, but Anthony Hernandez is kind of clean.
He
I
is
might
the
have to
favorite.
pick Anthony. Yeah, I think Anthony Hernandez might be the guy to beat Roman Dolidze again. But
Again.
I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't beat him before. But other people
Yeah.
have beat Dolidze. So
I would probably agree with that. I would probably go Hernandez, and I'll go with Steve with you. I'll go Steve with you for that one. I don't know. No, I trust your prediction, so I'll go with him knockout. And then what do you think Hernandez? The Hernandez fight. What do you think is going to be the finish? Do you think it's going to be a finish or a decision or what you got?
um,
Just rough
you
predictions.
know, Hernandez probably. I don't know if he can get a submission on Dolidze, but he does get a lot of submissions. So it's really hard to say. Dolidze's got really good ground game as well. Um, I could either see Hernandez winning by decision or submission, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there any
but
fights that you can see off the top of your head from this card that you are interested in or want to chat about?
no, Feely Rodriguez is another good one. Christian Rodriguez is entertaining. Andrew Feely is super entertaining.
Yeah.
Um, but I got Christian Rodriguez winning that one.
So does Vegas. Vegas has him as a minus 250 favorite. So I would say that you are probably on the money with that one. Let me scroll through here really quick to see if there's any other interesting fights on this card.
And anything that speaks to you, brother.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything else on this card looks like crazy, but any card can have any amount of bangers on it, you know? Sometimes the cards that you think are going to be awesome turn out to be kind of boring, and sometimes the cards that you're like, there's like one or two good fights end up being like really good cards. So, um, you never know. I think that those two fights or those three fights that we talked about will definitely all be really good fights, really fun to watch. And then hopefully the other ones just can hold their own to be somewhat decent fights, and all the fights turn out to be entertaining. Limit the amount of decisions. Let's get some finishes in there, gentlemen, and then that's about all I would
Three
say.
319 after that, and that's an exciting one. We don't have to talk about that now. We
Yeah,
can
we'll
talk about
talk
that
about it next
later.
week.
But
But yeah, 319, and also the same. I believe the same week. Yeah, the same week I believe is also Dana White's Contender Series on August 12th, which is I believe a Tuesday. But um, that would be cool. Sometimes there's some cool fights on the Contender Series. So I don't know who's
if I
on it
can
though.
catch it, I'd definitely watch it for sure.
I don't know who's on it. Um,
I don't think you'll know anybody from Dana White's
I
Contender Series
highly doubt it.
normally.
You may
Yeah.
know more people than me, but I definitely wouldn't. But there seems to be some potentially good fights on there, so we'll see how that
But
goes.
319 looks stacked. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to
Yes.
talk about it next week for sure.
Yeah, dude, 319. I'm super excited for that card. Definitely gonna be checking that one out. So that will be something that we're gonna talk about next week, probably. Is my guess. Even though it's yeah. Next week would be a good time
I'll
to talk
make
about.
I'll make I'll make a full prediction from early prelims to main card for
Yeah,
319 if
that's
to.
gonna be our thing for this channel is like the fight nights and stuff. We're gonna talk about like rough, like what the big
Fights that are
fights,
interesting,
the
fights
fights that
that
are
we see,
interesting.
are going
But
to be super dope.
we will do full predictions for the actual pay-per-views. We will do full predictions for those because those should have a few more interesting fights. You would assume on a pay-per-view. But that one is stacked, so definitely excited about talking about that. Let's just try to go over. I haven't really seen any crazy MMA news coming out anytime soon. Um, really like the last stuff we've been talking about in the UFC is, the White House card is gonna probably happen. So it'll be super interesting in the next, hopefully, like I assume 6 months or something like that. We'll figure out who's gonna maybe be headlining those, which will be awesome.
Hopefully Conor McGregor,
Hopefully
my
Conor
boy.
McGregor. Hopefully Conor McGregor. There's a couple of really big fights that could potentially happen. Right now McGregor
As
seems
long
all.
as John Jones ain't fighting on the White House lawn, I'm happy,
Bro,
bruh.
for real, dude. I'm over John Jones, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like he retired.
You and everybody else. You and
He,
everybody else,
he retired. I think Tom Aspinall is the dog. I really want to see him, just tear up the heavyweight division, hopefully. And I think it's totally lame that he's been off for like a year just because of John Jones. So don't let John Jones back on that card. And I love hearing Dana say, "I can't trust him to be on that card." That's awesome. So happy to hear Dana say that because normally Dana's kind of a meat writer on John Jones. So I was happy to hear him say that. I was like, yes, like it should
Not after he
definitely.
retired.
Yeah, I definitely love the idea of like a big heavyweight fight, like with somebody with uh somebody fighting big in that. I don't mind a heavyweight fight for that, but I really hope Conor McGregor is on that card. I would love to see McGregor Chandler. I still think that's a good fight. Chandler's kind of fallen off a little bit. He's not doing that great. McGregor's been
Yeah.
out for like a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. I think it's still a good fight. They have like past beef or whatever. I think that's still a good fight.
It's probably like the only lightweight fight in the top 5 that Conor McGregor, or like in the top 10 that Conor McGregor could beat, to be
Yeah,
honest.
to be
So
real, I don't know. Like he's like he's in the pool right now. He's getting his blood test done. I don't trust him at all. Like I love Conor McGregor. I would love to see him fight on that card. It'd be awesome. It seems, but like it's the same thing when the first time he was supposed to fight Chandler, like he was doing his training really hard and he was not drinking or anything like that, and then all of a sudden it just like fell apart. He got injured, and then next thing you know, it's cooked. So I can't even put any
lawsuits out the air.
yeah, I can't even put any faith in that. Like even if they announce that he's the headliner, I'm not gonna get excited until I'm watching the fights and he's fighting.
That's a good, yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's what I'm thinking. And then yeah, not any other big news or anything. We got some
Another
interest.
fight I'd love to see on the White House lawn: Ilya Taporia versus Islam Makhachev.
Oh, I would
Even
love
though
that.
that's not American, that's like one of the biggest fights you can make right now ever. So
Yeah. When do you think that they
that'll be.
do JDM versus Islam? Because he's been talking about moving up to 170 to fight for that
I
belt.
mean, that'll probably be sometime early next year or late
I think
this
so.
year.
I think so too. I hope they. I would love for that to be late this year. I think that would be a banger fight too. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that'll be a good fight. I really like. Um, I don't think JDM is beating Islam to be honest, but
I know,
um,
dude.
I
What do
think
you
the only person
think?
who possibly could beat Islam is Ilya Taporia, and
Really?
that'll be a
Okay.
banger fight whenever it happens.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. You think so? You think that Ilya? Because I think Ilya is really, really good. But do you think he has a? So you really feel like he has a good chance against Islam?
I think he has the best chance against
Okay.
Islam.
Okay.
Um, it's
Islam's
really
big, dude.
hard to say because I haven't seen a lot of Ilya's ground game in the UFC. He's kind of just given up on his ground game since he became a knockout striker, which it works for him. So,
I mean, he's
but
knocking out
I
dudes.
honestly, I honestly think he has that kind of Conor McGregor in his prime confidence that if he wanted to, he could go out there and knock out Ilya Taporia or even sub him if he really trained hard for that.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping Ilya Taporia doesn't make the same career moves as Conor McGregor and decides to box like Canelo Alvarez or
Yeah,
something.
for real, dude. For real, dude.
I want to
Yeah.
see Ilya Taporia. Honestly, seeing Ilya Taporia move up to 170 and fight Islam after Islam beats JDM is definitely my
Oh,
favorite
so
way
you
to see
want
that fight
Ilya
go
at
down.
170?
Oh yeah, I want Ilya to beat some people at 155, beat two people at 155, and then get Islam at 170
So
and
that means
become a three-time belt, three different weight
three
division
different
belt
weight
holder.
division. Do you think that so you're saying that you think Islam wins the title at 170 and then stays in 170, you think?
I think he could either stay at 170 or go back down to 155. But honestly, if he feels good enough at 170, he might just stay there. So
It's definitely easier weight cut for sure.
yeah.
What do you feel about weight cutting? That's a good question, cause like I mean I heard Ilya talking about it. He like walks around at like 180 or whatever, or yeah, like 180.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
he's obviously cutting 40 pounds, 40, 45, 35 pounds or whatever to get down to 145. Now he's fighting more at like 150, or he's gonna fight more at 155 now. Um, like, do you feel like it would make it better to like not, or like, because Ilya was saying something like he thinks that you should only be able to, which doesn't make sense because he breaks this too, but you should only be able to fight at like 10% your weight, like, so like whatever 10% of like the weight cut is, that would be good. So like, I don't know, like like if you're 180, right? If they like come weigh you on a random day and you're 180, then you can only fight 18 pounds below that, so that would be 170, or something like that, right? So
Hmm.
like, do you like that idea? Like obviously this is way future stuff. They're not going to do this for a long time if they ever do it at all. But do you like the fact that people can cut like 45 pounds of weight? It's definitely a huge advantage for people that are cutting that much weight to an extent.
Well, cutting weight's just dangerous. I think it would be healthier for the fighters if they didn't cut weight, but I think it is also a normal part of fighting. It's a normal part of martial
Yeah,
arts.
for
Wrestlers
sure,
do it all the time. Um, and it does give you a good advantage sometimes, but it also has drawbacks if you do it wrong.
for sure,
So,
for sure,
um, I feel like in order for them to get rid of it, they'd have to add different weight classes,
yeah.
like have
And
as much weight classes as like boxing does,
and we talked
or
about
like
this
not even
already.
that many, but like yeah.
We've already talked about this. How there's just not right now. There's not enough talent pool to do that. Like, because even if you added, because there is like some big gaps, like 155 to 170, like if you could have like a 165 and a 175 and a 185, 195, 205,
Mhm.
and then heavyweight, that'd be great, right? But then you're cutting all of 155 and 170 in like half pretty much. And
Mhm.
I would say after the top half, like some of those divisions kind of get weak after the top half. So like lightweight's obviously always pretty stacked. Featherweight's always pretty
Yeah.
stacked.
And they lose a lot of their star power for
Hmm.
like their divisions
Yeah,
because they're so diluted because there's so many of them. But that'd be my only solution for weight cutting is if
yeah,
they didn't want people to weight cut, they'd have to add more divisions.
yeah. But it would technically give people more of an opportunity to get more belts though, like more.
Absolutely.
So like
Yeah.
if you had a one, because right now like right it goes 135, 145, 155, 170. If you had like 165, right, like you could easily have 155, 165, and 170 belts if you wanted to or whatever. So, but I just think right now, like you said, there's just not enough talent pool to do that right now. I think it's a cool idea, potentially getting people to fight at like their actual weights would definitely be like healthier for sure. But like you said, it's a pretty normal part of fighting. Like they've been doing this forever, so it's
Yep.
not like the craziest thing. And the people that can't cut as much weight have already learned that, and they don't cut as much weight. Like for example, like Islam, right? Like I really feel like he's probably just tired of cutting to 155, and he's like, oh, if I could just fight at 170 and still be dominant, then why would I cut an extra 25 pounds when I could just, or 15 pounds when I could just fight at 170? I guarantee he walks around at like 190 or something like that. Like that dude is huge.
Oh, absolutely. He's huge, dude.
He's
He's huge.
massive. And I'm telling you, like
I can only
he's
imagine getting choked by him, dude. It
oh
must be
my,
crazy.
he's definitely got to be like cutting like 45 pounds or something
His
like
back
that.
muscles alone, dude,
Yeah,
give me
he's
like a just a major hard on, dude. Like, no
for
homo.
no homo though, no homo though. But yeah,
Like that shit.
not like that. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
But yeah, I mean, Islam's insane. I think the only person who could beat him is Ilya, and that's the only reason is because he has so much confidence, and I feel like he could have the confidence to put that in the training room and make that good.
Yeah,
But
no, I agree. I think that's gonna be an awesome fight. Whenever they eventually they're gonna schedule that. Whenever they schedule that, that'd be awesome. Um, but I do want to talk to the comment section right now. As we're getting more people watching the streams or the videos and stuff like that, I would love for you guys to put in some Q&A stuff in the chat like below. And we would love to like answer some questions. We'd love to have some Q&A times and stuff like that. Like we would love to answer questions. Trevor's got quite a bit more experience than me when it comes to like MMA, so probably mostly MMA questions will be for Trev. But we would love to discuss
well,
or
no,
or just any just like interesting thoughts or topics, ideas you have about the MMA in general or UFC, drop them down in the comments below. We'll read them and we'll talk about them on the next episode. So always do that if you're interested. Anything else you want to touch up on before we end this episode here, T-Roll?
nah, nah, absolutely. It was a decent card. Definitely could have been a little bit better, but yeah, it was fun to watch for sure.
For
Glad I got
sure.
to watch it.
All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Of course, if you're new, drop a subscribe and like this video. Comment down below some
Thumbs
questions,
up.
some topics. Leave a thumbs up, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.
Peace.